Hello again, or if this is your first time, welcome to the Canting Club. This week we visit the most famous wine region in the world, Bordeaux in southwest France, home to the Englishman's traditional tipple, claret. Bordeaux is a vast region and there are many different styles of claret, but the main difference is between those of the left bank and the right bank. Forgive my mirror image gestures. I'm looking at a sort of imaginary map in front of me and of course you're looking through the back of it. Right up through the centre of Bordeaux, splitting it in half, flows the great estuary of the Gironde and its tributaries, the Garonne and the Dordogne. The Garonne and Gironde flow essentially north with a bit of west, ending up in the Atlantic. The Dordogne goes off towards the southeast. The area between the Garonne and the Gironde and the ocean is the left bank. This is full of deep gravel beds laid down by the river, and it's here that Cabernet Sauvignon is king. Over on the right bank, to the east of the Gironde and the north of the Dordogne, the soils are very different. There's lots of clay in them, which doesn't suit Cabernet Sauvignon at all, but it does suit Merlot, which rules here. Although it's hardly ever used on its own, the right bank wines are mostly Merlot, but usually a generous quantity of Cabernet Franc in there as well. The most famous of the right bank appellations are Saint-Emilion and Pomerol, but there are scores of others. This is from a little known one and the most easterly of them all, Franc Côte de Bordeaux. It's also the newest, created in '67, and the smallest, but it's up and coming. And this wine is from one of the top chateaux in this little area, Chateau Franc Cardinal. It's made from a typical right bank blend, 72% Merlot, 24% Cabernet Franc, and just 4% of Malbec. It's a 2012, and you can tell that from the colour. It's a deepish red, certainly, but it's lost its youthful purple tinge and is now much more garnet than it is ruby. Oh, lovely classic claret nose, all dusty blackcurrant and cigar box. If you don't know what cigar box smells of, it's sort of pencil shavings and cedar wood and maybe a bit of tobacco leaf. There's also black cherries in here too, and quite a lot of dried herbs, especially bay leaf. Then there's this great earthy undergrowth forest floor sort of scent, what the French would call sous bois, under the woods. It's very dry and typically for claret, not much more than medium bodied, despite the 13.5% alcohol. The flavours fill your mouth, but they're very well integrated. It's hard to tease them apart. I get leafy, unsweet blackcurrant, dusty bramble and red plum. Quite Merlot-y, that red plum. There's also this iron tang that continues on into the finish, which is slightly warming but definitely unsweet. It's got this lovely balance in there on the finish between the mouth-watering acidity and the silky, gentle tannins. The acidity wins just, so the finish ends up dry but not drying. It's amazing to think this is Merlot, especially if you've only ever had New World Merlots, or even those from Italy. But it is archetypal right bank claret, demonstrating brilliantly what Merlot and Cabernet Franc can do in this climate and on these soils. 2012 is not regarded as a particularly good year in Bordeaux, but that's because vintages are dominated by what happens on the left bank, which was historically more famous. It wasn't a good year for left bank Cabernet Sauvignon. It was much more successful for Merlot, especially on the right bank. And of course, this is as far right bank as you can get. 4.5 years is quite young for good claret, but this is very approachable and most definitely ready to drink, provided of course that you decant it, which we've done for you, and that you have it as it was meant to be had, with food. The famous classed growths, the Cru Classé of Bordeaux, have all the fame. They're frighteningly expensive, but this is classic claret, just without the Class A price tag. Cheers!